Hey Aries, it's Empress Rose here. Welcome to your reading. General reading, take what works, leave what doesn't. I'm actually doing I-ching reading today. I've got my coins here, we'll be tossing those. But to get a general idea of what this toss might be about, we're pulling from the bottom of the deck, which I just cut. 7 of Wands. Having to stand your ground, having to defend yourself, having to stick with something that you want, even though there are naysayers, and there's a little bit of like a devilishness to you here. You've got it. You've got something and it's yours and you are sticking with it. So 7 of Wands, Wands being sort of our spiritual, psychological journey, also an artistic endeavor, some sort of endeavor where maybe there have been people saying, nah, you can't do that. What are you talking about? You can't go there. You can't do that. So we're going to build this. We're going to build our I-ching hexagram from the bottom up. And it's going to be, we're going to throw the coin 6 times and get us a probability. So it's not so much prediction as probability. Okay. 2 heads, yang energy. 2 heads, yang energy. This is funny. 2 heads, yang energy. So one thing I find really cool is that I had already started doing this reading and something went wrong, so I had to start over again. And you got the same bottom trigram. It's number 1. It's heaven. All right. So line 4. 2 tails, yin energy, as it was on the last one. Let's see about this. 2 tails. Okay, that's a little different. But you know what's interesting? No, it's 2 heads. It's the same. And then what's interesting too is, like, we were talking about how as the coins like roll and spin, how we can see how something just could have gone a little differently. 2 tails. Okay. And then that's what we're getting, that top is the tails instead of the heads in the last time. But we do have ourselves a static hexagram, which I find very interesting. That's what we got the last time too on the recording I was doing before everything went wrong. So a static hexagram, I'm going to go do my calculations. I'll be right back. So our top trigram was water, and that's hanging out over heaven. To create hexagram number 5. So water over heaven. We're talking about something a lot more physical. It does have flow and it is more physical. And that's over something that is just all of the possibilities. So we have something that was maybe a dream, maybe a vision, and it's coming into more of the physical world. It's not fully concrete, but it has more flow. It has more, it's something that can be seen, can be touched. There might be an emotional element to it, but it is something where we're bringing in something more concrete. So it is an unchanging hexagram. We didn't have any dynamic lines, which would be our action lines and our things to focus on. Because what I'm seeing here with this hexagram number 5 is that, and this 7 of Wands, is that you've already done what needs to be done. And so the rest is waiting. So that's what the hexagram is called. It's number 5, waiting. And the literal translation of the main body of the hexagram, not the lines, because we don't have any lines to read. The penalty is a goblet of wine, sign of the sacrifice, good omen, auspicious for crossing the great stream. So you've arrived somewhere, and it's going to happen, right? And the stream being that flow, being in the flow and being able to not be carried away with the flow, but having some sort of idea and then being able to cross whatever stream, whatever difficulty, whatever stood in your way, you're able to sort of ford a stream now. So the overall idea for the hexagram is being patient. What is will inevitably yield to what will be. So there's sort of an inevitability with this. And this, we had you here having already like standing your ground. And you didn't need to do anything here other than stay where you are, do what you're doing, and stand your ground on some sort of project or something that you're trying to make happen in reality. Yeah, there were naysayers. So I find that really interesting. In this hexagram, we also have naysayers. So the idea behind it is whatever blocks you've experienced were with other people. So the other people blocking your way, they've just been either playing a game, but I want to say like there might have been rules involved and regulations involved, and you know, there sometimes like if you join a group, it takes a while for the group to accept you, and it's not necessarily a game. It's just, it just takes a while, and people want to see if you're going to stick around before they really invest in getting to know you or whatever. For better or for worse, that's just how a lot of people are wired. So the other thing with waiting was the penalty is a goblet of wine. So let's talk about that. That's a drinking game, basically. And the thing with the I-ching is we just have broken text, so some parts of it we don't really understand exactly what they were going for and exactly what they were doing. So, so there was a game being played. So, like for every time you didn't get the job, you know, let's have a drink or something like that. So I'm not necessarily seeing that it was a game and people were just playing with you. I just see that there were probably like I feel like a lot of times our legal rules and stuff like that are sort of just hoops people have to jump through, and you know, so this calls it a game, but I want to call it like rules or yeah, something like that. Like, so whatever's been blocking you, and it does specify that people have been blocking you. And this too has naysayers trying to block you. You're there. And I love the little smirk you have here. Like, yeah, well, I'm here and you guys can't reach me. So the waiting is over, and now is a good time to move or act. I feel like though this one also talks a lot about like you've already gotten to the stream. It's fine for you to cross the stream. You're here now, and you can do this now. Like the stream's low enough now for you to be able to cross it. So there is something sort of materializing here. You knew it. It was just sort of a matter of time before this thing happened. And now that it's here, if there's action to be taken, now's a good time to take that action. If there's not action to be taken, then you can just, you know, stay here. So I think we have like, you know, our to-do list is sort of like, if there is something that needs to be done still, go ahead and do it. But for the most part, whatever was blocking you is just kind of, it's getting cleared. Okay, so I'm pulling out some Oracle deck cards. So here we have work through your fears, new moon in Scorpio. So you may not know exactly how something's going to turn out, but this is looking at where you're being defensive, looking at where you're armoring yourself against even your own self and your own intuition and your own understanding of things. So just facing your fears, basically. You might want to write them down, what you're worried about, what you're afraid of. It's important stuff to like look at. Otherwise, it can dominate your life from sort of the back end, from the subconscious end. The back end. I'm thinking subconscious is like buried down in some dark hole back in here. So you can, and so pulling those forward and looking at them is actually a really good way to make sure that fear isn't inadvertently running your life for you. Pill of light, your vibration is rising, you're the oracle. So this could be talking about a conversation, or you do have something to say. This can also be talking about a leveling up, a promotion of some kind. Yeah, so a leveling up and a promotion of some kind is possible here. And it's just been a matter of time, basically, is whatever had to happen, whatever, you know, higher ups needed to do whatever, they've done it, and now you're free to, whatever's been sort of pushing you down, which appears to be someone else's sort of process or something, it's released now and you can rise up to where you were wanting to go. And then we have a time of healing, balsamic moon. So getting over something also might involve some rest and relaxation. Again, we have sort of this like new moonish idea of not really being able to see the future, but there is like a sense of like something inevitably happening. Like it's like when you put in enough work in something, the results are coming. But before that, I think like, oh, and it might be really healing to like, one, realize that you weren't really the problem. The problem might have been some other process or something else. And two, it might be really healing to realize that you can do this, right? It's always like when we're trying and we're trying and we're trying, or we want something to happen and we're working really hard and it doesn't happen, we can really like be self-recriminating and blame ourselves and what's wrong with me. And this is saying there's nothing wrong with you. You've done everything you can. It's something else. It's something external to you that's working its stuff out here. And it might be a very healing message for you to hear that and for you to finally be able to like level up or do what you are wanting to do, and have that success. And it'll be like a message, well, it might be part of it that a message might be part of it that it's, that you're okay. There was something external blocking you and suppressing your progress forward. So I don't necessarily want to say it's people, because that can have us looking for the boogeyman, but don't go, there's no need for that. It's just some sort of process or some sort of rules. The rules of the game required this. So, and don't let pride get in your way, full moon in Leo. So this also is talking about shame to me. We also are in Leo season. So don't let pride get in your way. When something finally moves forward, don't be too proud. Well, now I don't want it. Or you blocked my way and now I don't want to do this anymore. That kind of thing. Like don't let pride get in the way, and also don't let shame get in the way, especially shame if some sort of thing you've been trying to do and working towards and had to really stick to your guns and stick with and be very determined about and make space for this thing. Right. It can be like, if the opportunity finally comes, don't turn your nose up at it. Like, oh, well, now I don't want you. Now I'm in the power position and I don't want you now. Ha ha ha. How's it feel? So something like that is what I kind of see. All right. We're going to pull in a couple of these cards. Ooh, I love this one coming in for you. Okay. A little bit of a mess here. Okay. Well, we're going to start actually with this one. Keys on trees. So this is a little bit of an awkward situation. Again, I love this coming in here because it's a similar message that we're getting with the I-ching, as far as this isn't your fault. This elephant is trapped up here, but it's not the elephant's fault. The elephant was sort of tricked up there. There's no elephant in his right mind that's going to go up this spiral staircase to a cage. That's not naturally going to happen. So this card has always meant to me that whatever sticky situation you find yourself in, it's not your fault. You didn't try to get here. This isn't something that you planned out and you organized. In fact, you've had sort of people working against you or something like that. So you have, but as with many of our problems, other people may create them for us, but we have the responsibility of getting out of the problem or the issue or recovery, right? We're talking about a time for healing, and we're the ones that have to take control of our own recovery of some sort of obstacle or difficult situation. So again, we have this obstacle here, but it is, and I love this too, because it's inevitable. Here, that his freedom is inevitable. Here are trees full of keys to unlock his own cage. And it might be unfair that he has to do all of this work that someone else for a situation that's not his fault, but he does have to do all of this work. And it is inevitable that he's going to find the right key and get out of the situation. He'll have learned quite a bit. He'll have a whole new grasp of the jungle and where everything is located. Might have even noticed up in this place a great watering hole over there. And then, yeah, but it's inevitable. You're trapped now, but your freedom is inevitable, but you do have to keep working towards it. And then we have a change of season. So things are going to be changing. Things are going to be different. Here we have some vulnerability within all of these changes, right? She's down in her underwear and everything's changing around her. It's somehow both spring and fall all at the same time. And everything's changing. And this can have you feeling very vulnerable in the midst of all these changes and everything going on. Here we have no rain today. And I really like this one combined with don't let pride get in your way. Again, you have the sun here, right? And then we have the clouds here. And the clouds are moving out of the way so that we can really see the sun. Well, it's supposed to be the moon, but it's Leo, so it's the sun. So no rain today is like being here now. So when the situation changes, and it's inevitable that the situation's going to change. It might kind of have you feeling a little weird or a little freaked out. The situation is going to change, but no rain today. It's like, don't carry over your bad days into your good days. Like, So, okay, this situation actually moved out of the way. We can now see the sun. We can now see clearly. So don't let pride get in the way would be like, don't like try to spite the clouds by not enjoying the sun. Like that literally doesn't make sense when I say it, but yet it's somehow a psychology we can all get into, is trying to sort of spite the sun. Like, oh, well, the sun's out now today. Well, I'm not going to enjoy it because I wanted the sun to be out yesterday already. So I'm not going to do this because yeah, you said, you know, screw you. Well, screw you, right? Okay, so we have this this idea of not letting what's happened in the past. Don't let pride get in your way. No rain today. So just being very present when what you want does come. Don't, you know, well, you weren't here yesterday, so, you know, screw you. Or, you know, you hurt my feelings, so I'm going to hurt yours, or something like that. Like things just had to play out, and there was an inevitability to whatever is happening here. And then we have Flower Spirit. I love this one because this was the first one that came out of this deck. I love it because this is like spiritual assistance or emotional support for something coming in here. You have these changes coming in. You have something changing. And I think you want the change, but I think it's just been a little bit rougher to get to than what you wanted. And then you have this assistance. There might be assistance behind the scenes here, or there might be like emotional support here. And so this card is here just to tell you that it's there. The emotional support, the spiritual support that you need as you go through this change where you might be feeling a little vulnerable. Even though it's a wanted change, it may still have you feeling very vulnerable. It's something that you may have worked for and wanted and had a hard time figuring out how to do and how to get. But this is like there is support for you as you go through this process. And then I think that that also matches really well with this balsamic moon. Okay, let's see here. Let's pull. Okay, I was about to give up on you. Oh, I love this. Look at this. Aries, bear spirit, healing. It's like well, I've always had questions about this card because I don't know why the bear is not hibernating in the winter. That seems weird. Doesn't seem very healing, but we're just going to go with it. Like maybe this is the first like snow in early fall and the bear's like about to head into hibernation. So something is very healing here. We have healing energy here, and we also have the healing energy of this balsamic moon. So, and then we have Thicket of Thorns, uncertainty. Yes, I think this is definitely talking about this like uncertainty of whether or not you were ever going to be able to get out of this situation, uncertainty, right? Because the Thicket of Thorns, you're stuck in there for a while. This shows the moment when the path becomes clear. But before this moment where the path becomes clear, and what do we have? We have a deer here and some butterflies. So the moment before that, there's a lot of confusion and uncertainty, and then the path opens up. So this all looks to me like something that's sort of that you've been trying to get to, and you've been very stubborn, and you've required a lot of tenacity and stick-to-itiveness. It's opening up. And that's what the reading was too. It's opening up, and you're going to see the way out. You're going to find the key. It's inevitable. It's inevitable that you get out of the Thicket of Thorns. It's inevitable that you get out of this sticky situation. And it's inevitable that the path become known and clear to you and you move forward. Just don't resent it or be angry that it didn't show up sooner, is what I'm saying. So let's go over to Vimeo now, and I'll leave the description or the link and probably a little description in the description box below. And if you want to do the extended with me, that'll be a more traditional tarot spread. So, ciao.